All right, guys. I'm going to go over the survey worksheet that I handed out the other day. My comment tools here. We'll start writing. Okay, so we have our in-class survey assignment here, and you had to ask 3 classmates these 3 questions here. So let's say my friends were Mr. Blue and where are my colors? There we go. Mr. Green and Mr. Red. These are my 3 friends here. So I asked each person each question. So Mr. Red's up first. And we'll say Red liked mustard, loud music, and summer. And then we'll say Mr. Green answered the same questions, and he liked ketchup, loud music, and summer. And then we'll say Mr. Blue, last but not least, liked ketchup, quiet music, and summer. Okay, so this is how you should have filled in your survey sheet if you didn't do it this way. Tally marks, check marks, whatever you want to do. There should be a total of 9, and I in fact have a total of 9, so I did it correctly. So now we need to use this table to answer these questions down here. And you have this little blurb here that says, since people's responses to these questions happened individually and have no effect on each other, we can consider all responses to each survey question as independent events, right? Because answering ketchup or mustard when asked this question doesn't have any impact on whether or not you like loud or quiet music or summer or winter. They're unrelated questions, independent events. So question 1 is asking now, what is the probability that a person you surveyed prefers mustard and loud music? So you can't think of it as we pick one person and what's the probability that that person likes both of these things. It has to be thought about in terms of this one person answered these 2 questions independently. So there are 2 different events happening, or 2 actions. So we look at our data, and your data is going to be different from my data, so you may not have the same numbers as I do when you do the math. So it's important to understand the logic here. So let's look at how many people preferred mustard first. So with my data, only 1 out of 3 people preferred mustard. And then loud music, right here, that was 2 out of 3. 2 out of the 3 people I surveyed preferred loud music. And then I multiply these together because they are 2 separate independent events, and that's what we do in that situation. So 2 out of 9 would be my answer. Again, yours may be different. Okay, so keep going. What is the probability that a person surveyed prefers summer and does not prefer mustard? So just a little bit of a trickier wording to make sure you know your stuff here. So prefers summer. Oh, well, all 3 people preferred summer. I asked 3 people if they preferred summer or winter, and they all said they do prefer summer. So 3 out of 3 people times people who do not prefer mustard. So do not prefer, that means the opposite choice would be ketchup. So 2 out of 3 people did not prefer that. And then we get 6 out of 9, which is the same thing as 2/3. Which makes sense because 3 over 3 is the same thing as 1. So if we take 1 times 2/3, we should get 2/3 again. Makes sense. Going on, what is the probability that a person surveyed prefers both summer and winter? Well, knowing the situation, that really wasn't an option, right? They had to pick one or the other. You can't prefer both. So in this situation, that would have to be 0 or 0%, or however you want to say that. Can't happen. What is the probability that a person does not prefer quiet music? That's a relatively simple question. Just, asking about how one person felt in terms of one question. So there's no multiplication necessary. We're only asking about one of the questions in the survey. So who didn't prefer quiet music? That was 2 out of 3. And that's all you need there. 2 out of 3 people liked loud music. And that is it for this paper. So remember, again, you may not have the same answers as me. That's okay. You had different survey results than I did, most likely. But that is how you think about these kinds of questions. All right. So hope you got something out of that, and I will see you in school.